What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I have an absolute heater for you today. An absolute epic conversation with the one, the only Jordan Ray Landers. If you're here, you probably know who that is, but if you don't, I have all of his socials linked down in the description. Go check him out and then come back, listen to this conversation, and just be blessed by all things bass, more bass. And you know what? We talk about booties, Judy. I don't know. There's a lot of info packed in here. It's a long one, I'm not going to lie, but if you stick around to the end, I promise you will be blessed. So, here it is. The man, the myth, the Instagram legend, Jordan Ray Landers. Welcome to the show.
Dude, what's up?
Dude, I am stoked to be able to do this. I appreciate you. Taking the time to just sit down.
Absolutely. Are we going to go through every one of those pedals behind you?
You know what?
Would absolutely love to.
Honestly, we could do that. I think that would be a good time.
Nice.
No, so if you guys don't know, this is Jordan Ray Landers. He has just blown up on Instagram. He is the worship bass king of Instagram, if you will. Jordan, I don't think I followed you for that long, but I knew immediately once you popped up on my feed, I was like, oh, this guy knows how to play bass. This guy knows what he's doing. So I was immediately drawn to that. I was drawn to the fact that you are uniquely, unapologetically yourself, and, you know, just all around good dude.
Dude, thank you so much. Yeah, the Instagram stuff was weird because I'm like half of me is like, let's do this, let's go all in.
Yeah.
And the other half of me is like, I just want to build an A-frame cabin in the woods and not talk to anybody. So there's always this like constant back and forth with me.
Yeah, dude, so I get that 100%.
Yeah.
I've kind of been taking a break on the YouTube side. Just life has been crazy this past year, but you're going to be one of the first videos in this reset or whatever you want to call it. And, you know, I'm just stoked. So let's just dive right in.
Okay.
Guys, I haven't known Jordan for very long, so I am going to be getting to know him just like you guys. So I think the best place to jump in is, who is Jordan Ray Landers, man? That's a big question, but just kind of, you know, take me through how you got to the point where you are today.
Okay, yeah, dude, I grew up in Dallas, well, North Dallas, and music there had this hardcore scene that was phenomenal. There was like a pop punk scene and then a hardcore scene. And of course I grew up playing in church, and there was just like such a separation of the three, because we grew up in that weird time, at least I did, I'm 33, where you had Reliant K and Switchfoot, and it was like this weird, like, can we be a Christian band and not say it?
Right.
There was, you know what I mean? Like, there was a time when it was, are they Christian? Well, we don't know, but that's cool that it's kind of this ambiguous, we're not sure. So we grew up in this time of like, I had very strict Christian parents. So when it came time to like music stuff, it was, everything had to be pre-approved by, you know, my brother, who was older than me, and he's a pastor. So it's like, not that he didn't have good taste in music. He was just like, I was into super heavy stuff, and he got about as heavy as Reliant K.
Yeah.
And dealing with that in the South was like, you had worship, and worship was phenomenal, and you played it. Anything else outside of the church was like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
So I had this great mentor. His name was Kalen, or I played a band with him growing up, and he was one of the like super devout Christian, obviously, but knew like what was cool and what was, hey, let's not fall into the weeds of that. Right. So anything that like he kind of get the green light on, my parents were like, all right, well, if Kalen says it's cool, thank God, because if he didn't, dude, like all the metal, all the pop punk, all the stuff that I like am in love with now and grew up on, it would not have been a thing.
Right, dude. I kind of feel like that is a lot of how Christian just people grow up in the church. I'm kind of the same way. I'm in the Dayton, Ohio area. Have been here my whole life. My parents, not super strict, but same kind of deal. Music in my early growing up years and stuff like that it was K-Love, man. It was Air One. It was stuff like that. So I think right when I hit high school, right when I started to be able to drive is kind of where the music kind of exploded for me. There was a station called Radio U. I don't know if that's down south at all, but it was the Beartooth. It was a Christian.
No way.
Yeah, dude. It was.
We had 89.7 Power FM.
Yeah.
And it was independent, and they would play. That's like they would play that's how I discovered Haste the Day, and I was like, "What is this station?" And then obviously come to find out they're playing heavy stuff. And I was like, "This is phenomenal." I didn't know that. I mean, they were super local, so there were other stations like that playing heavy stuff.
Yeah, so it was a Christian-based radio station, and then they played like the Switchfoot style. Like, are they Christian? Are they not? Like, what are they? They played. They had different days where they would play different stuff. Like they had Metal Monday. So like you had Beartooth, awesome. You had all this other stuff. And then like Fusion Friday, there was just the Grey Havens, like all kinds of music. Like the Christian rappers were on there. Just it was a really good station. So that kind of opened me up to, all this different style music. Yep. And that's where I really dove in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
It's so dope that you had a station that was not only like did that, but knew what they were doing.
Right. Yeah.
Usually you see that and it's like, oh, check out this new band. It's Creed. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm super glad they're back together. Great for them. But like at the time, you're like, isn't there anything else?
Right. Yeah, dude. It really, opened my eyes to what was out there music wise. But yeah, just, continue. Went off on a little tangent there, my bad. But yeah.
I'm all about tangents. So I just played in bands growing up, pop punk bands, heavy bands. And it came time to like, you start, as you get older, you can kind of differentiate people who are just playing because they like playing, and then people who are super passionate about it. And as great as the Dallas hardcore scene was, I just saw like I wanted more.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who had asked me like, what do you want to do with your life? And of course you're 18, you have no idea. I want to play music. Well, what does that entail? And he was like, well, do you want to be a professional metal player? Do you want to be a professional rock player? Do you want to be a professional bassist?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Now all I have is these like worship, pop punk, and metal under my belt. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these three. I know that there's like, they kind of cross over at certain points, but and then after that I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
And Texas had like that, at least in Dallas, they had this, again, great hardcore scene. You had this phenomenal worship scene, but there was nothing really else. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I got to go somewhere that has just like a whirlwind of different sounds. So it was Nashville, LA, New York, and New York, no way, dude, balls expensive.
Right.
Oh, a thumbs up. See, even FaceTime knows. Nashville, I drove up, I played a show there with a friend, and it was too much like Dallas for my liking.
Okay.
At the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to change. And then tried out LA, loved it. So I spent LA 2016 to 2021.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
So, 6-7 years.
Wow.
And through that, dude, I got to, when you move to a major city, this is something I told my wife all the time. Like, I wish, like, right out of high school, the government would make you move. Like, it's a requirement. You have to go live in another country or, like, a completely different part of the state, or, the completely different part of the U.S. for, like, 2 years minimum.
Yeah.
Just so you can, like, culture yourself, and not just in, like, culture, but in music and in people. And LA was just such a melting pot of all these people coming in with these specific backgrounds, but they had a little bit of taste of what their home was like. And I was like, I'm in love with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. So I just did music in Los Angeles, and that's a whole different story of like God kind of bringing me. I did Mosaic MSC for a bit.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and it was great. And that church helped me phenomenally as like myself and my walk, kind of helped me understand like what professionalism looked like in a church.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and churches can get like super toxic and like,
yeah.
hey, we're doing this, but like, what's the vision? Mosaic was like the first church I was a part of that was like, we're doing this. There's a vision, and we're forefronting that vision.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
awesome.
lit something up in me, dude. I was like, oh, dude, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Not
That's
just in
awesome.
worship, but just in general music. And it was like what I
Right.
was missing in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then I moved to Tulsa.
yeah.
Which was
So, what led to, okay, so you're out in LA, you're doing the music thing.
yeah.
What led the move to Tulsa?
COVID.
Okay, gotcha.
COVID for everyone, dude. It was such like a mental block for everyone trying to be. It's just. I always have this thing with like millennials where, like, I hate. I sound like I'm dating myself. I sound like an old guy, but like boomers were like, I'm great at what I'm doing musically, and they were.
Yeah.
And then millennials were like, oh, I'm all right, but they were great. And so we had to put this like, oh, I'm not that great, but you had to be like so good.
Yeah.
And when I moved, like Dallas was like 50-50. Are you a cool guy? And can you play?
Yeah.
And LA was like, it's 99% are you a cool guy? Because you're expected to be able to play.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the city just spits you out.
Right.
And moving for like, there was such this rat race of everyone. And when COVID hit, I mean, I don't know how it was everywhere else. LA shut down like crazy.
Yeah.
There was no pressure. There wasn't this like, I got to pretend like I'm doing something. I have to do something. Everyone has to think I'm doing something, because you knew like nobody was doing anything.
Right. Yes.
And it was phenomenal just to take a second and breathe and be like, okay, I'm not just taking like a me time. I'm taking like, everyone's taking a break. So what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And it was awesome because then you could sit down and you could see like, my wife and I, we wrote down like, what do we want in life now that we actually have a second to breathe? I was working like 4 jobs, and LA had like 15% of it.
Yeah.
And without that break, we wouldn't have known. Like,
right.
So with COVID, dude, I got out of there. My wife and I got a house in Tulsa, and we started to see, like, I was just following God's vision, man. I had prayed so hard because I didn't know what to do. Yeah. I thought like I definitely felt LA calling me, or God calling me to LA when I moved, but moving out of LA, it's terrifying. Yeah. Because you're like, is this my sign of like, I'm giving up the dream? Especially like living in there and seeing friends move out was like, oh, this is their moment. They're giving up. Like they're going to go do something else, be a worship pastor.
Yeah.
And I just prayed for wisdom, man. Mm-hmm. It was just a constant prayer for wisdom. Like, God, I don't know what we're trying to do here. I know my wife has extreme anxiety right now, and we got to get the hell out of here. I don't know where we're going. I don't know what we're doing. All I'm doing is praying for vision. And God had moved us here. And nothing, I don't know anyone here at the time. It was just like, we just felt like, all right, cool, Tulsa. Like, I just knew whatever we were going to do, wherever God was leading us, we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, dude, that's an incredible story. That's super cool that you guys were able to, rely on God during that time and just get you out of there, that mass exodus from LA, dude.
Yeah.
So
it was.
And I know, so 2021, you moved from LA to Tulsa. How long did it take you to get involved with Church on the Move?
It took me less than a year.
Okay.
Because I knew, like, dude, when I was in Mosaic, my wife's church kind of fizzled. Like, their pastors left. They were a very small church. My wife and I got married. She wasn't going to Mosaic at the time when we were dating. And when we started going to Mosaic together, we realized at the time, like, again, at the time, I don't know how it is now, but there was nothing for married people.
Yeah.
And we're like, we need to grow spiritually together in this marriage. So this is a big problem.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a pride hit because I was like, whoa, this has become my family. I've grown a lot personally here, but we put priorities on the table and we said, well, what's number one? Number one is a marrieds group. We need to find somewhere that's going to be able to take care of us.
That's good.
Thank God, dude. We found C3 leaders. I can honestly tell you, I don't think we would have made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, again, just God leading us out, leading us into something else. And the family we had, the commitment we had at church for C3, it gave us this precedent of like, when we were moving to Tulsa, I knew like, here's the bar. Mm-hmm. Here's the bar, not just musically, but here's the bar, like what we need in a church for us spiritually,
Yeah.
for us together. And before I even got here, dude, I had like a list. Of course, it's the South, right? So
Right.
I had like 30 churches on a list, and we're going to just start knocking these out
Yeah.
one by one. I knew like it was a death sentence if we got here. And we're like, well, let's take 3 months off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh shit, I have 2 weekend days now. Like, I'm never giving these up again.
Right.
Yeah, dude. It's so immediately just start hit the ground running, going visiting churches. We knew what we wrote it out. We were intentional with, great biblical teaching. Obviously, music has to be great. Do they have a vision for their worship department? Is it just for the church? Is it to write? And we found Church on the Move. We loved it. Every church has its things that you're not going to fully agree with.
Yeah.
But we just felt like, man, those are so minimal right now. And again, praying for wisdom. God, is this the right move? And I waited. We started going, and I made it intentional that I'm not going to play here for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
I need to get the culture of the church and like what it's doing for my wife and I and our marriage and the city. And dude, after that, like I just felt the Lord was like, all right, go all in here.
Yeah.
I hate that phrase, by the way.
Right.
I can't believe I just said it. Oh God. I hate it. My name's Jordan. I'm all in. Like every church, all in.
Yeah.
God. If I ever have to wear one of those shirts, just push me out in traffic.
Yeah, dude, that's so good. It's awesome that, you found your place there and, you guys are just going after it. So I think I found you on Instagram. I think you had like 10, 12,000 followers or something like that. When did you get into the Instagram scene, and like when did you blow up? Like, has it been a steady thing, or did you blow up on one video, or what has that experience been for you?
You started following me. It was like a month before. I think from like 2015 to up until like 6 months ago, I was steady at like 1,000 followers.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I'm not trying to grow this. Again, it was such a back and forth of like,
right.
Oh, do I want to put into this? And then of course the algorithm fucks you up. So you're like, well, I'm going to put some work in here. And then you take a month off and it's like, well, you're gone. I had no idea. I can't even begin to understand what like Instagram's doing and like why things get popular. But my wife has been on my ass in a good way our entire marriage about like, dude, you gotta post, you gotta figure like get consistent with the rhythm, like I am very much like if I'm not seeing work, I'm not doing it. And that's what it was. It was like I'd put in the work, nothing would happen for like a month, and my wife was like, here's the deal, this is what you need to do, who cares if it takes 10 years to take off? I hate that process. What you're going to do when you end this call and you're going to spend hours just editing in the dark. Like, I hate it. God, I hate it so much. It's hard. That's why I'm only doing like stupid 30-second reels. Cause it's like, YouTube, someone the other day was like, you should do YouTube stuff. I'm not even thinking about YouTube, man.
Yeah.
I started posting stuff, little clips of like, I think we get to a point when we're like, I know I'm good, but I don't think I have anything to offer. I think I've been doing this for 15 years, so I must have some talent. If not, then nobody would be hiring me.
Right.
And I just started like listing little things. Hey, try a 1/3 instead of the 1. And people were like, oh my God, I didn't think to do that. And I was like, oh.
It just clicks. Yeah.
Something so small. Like, and I remember when someone did that 10 years ago when I first started, I was like, what is that note?
Yeah.
It just blows your mind. Like, you don't think about stuff like that. And it's just, it takes someone, it's like the Matrix. Like, we're all like asleep. And it takes someone like waking you up and you're like, how have I not seen the
1/3? Yes, dude. That's hilarious.
And it was just that, dude. Just little videos on Instagram. And then something, I posted this, dude. So I record I will say Ryan Prim is this drummer in Dallas. I grew up with him. Phenomenal drummer, incredible guy. And he started doing drum stuff and it took off.
Yeah.
And I am a simple man when it comes to this stuff. Like I said, I hate the process.
Right.
So I wrote him, I was like, dude, give me the simplest thing you can give me, like that I can just start recording stuff. So he was like, iRig 2. He like even broke it down and like, this is the cable you need. This is the iRig. This is the other cable. That's it. It took me, I had it in my backpack for like 6 months before I even did anything with it.
That's
It's
crazy.
such a slow process.
Yeah.
And I did it. And I think like I asked my church because I was like, I don't want to be the guy just recording the service.
Yeah.
And then that seems like fake worship. Is he actually worshiping? Is it just for the video?
Right.
So, I wanted to honor the church. I was like, can I just record these rehearsals?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, we would love that.
Yeah.
So I just started recording rehearsals, finding clips like that I thought could be useful.
Yeah.
And this one I had of like me playing the G3 grabber, like it was just like a worship bass tone thing.
Yeah.
And that's what blew up.
Yeah.
This like 10-second thing that
right.
of course that's how it works, right?
Yes, it is.
No one knows
yes.
there's no secret sauce, just consistency. And I posted that and everyone is just like all of a sudden I had notifications on my Instagram and it was like,
you're like,
just start stacking up. I was like, what is, I didn't pray for it. Like I didn't say, God, I'm going to invest in this. And I hope that you would invest in me investing in this. Yeah. It was just, what the hell's happening? And it took off.
And I think that's the video that, I saw. You know what you do? You're just scrolling. And then I just hear this bass tone and I'm like, what? Hang on a second. Who is that? What's going on here? That sounds like my jam. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's it. That's what happened.
I'm
awesome. Trying to stay consistent, but it's like it's something so small as that. And you always hear people like, I don't know, man. It just took off. But it really did. Like, just try. Yeah. Just try and put in the work and be consistent. And that's what's really gotten all of this. I think I have like 13,000 followers now. It's just, and the thing is, they're all bass followers.
Yeah.
They're not like some rando workout dude who doesn't know anything about bass or guitar. Yeah. I have somehow just through the algorithm built this bass community.
Yes.
And it's like, dude, I didn't pray for it. It just happened. Like I couldn't even have prayed specifically for this because I had no idea this was a thing.
Exactly. Yes.
It just happened. And it just felt like maybe I do have something to offer here.
Yeah, dude.
I always wanted to be this like forefront runner, kind of the Mosaic MSC where it was like, I am at the front of this game. I'm creating this sound, this revolution of whatever's coming next. And then there was like here's where everyone else is. And here is the super creative. And I was like leading with the creatives. But over time, I've just realized like, I am not this.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not this.
Yeah.
Because, and more power to them if that's what they're called to and that's how creative they are.
Right.
But I'm not here either.
Right.
And I am right in the middle.
Yeah, dude.
And I always thought it was stupid to be there.
Yeah.
Because you can have this mentality of like, I'm better than them. But you're not. Like you were that. And it's your job, no matter what you're doing, especially as a bass player. It's a responsibility that you have to get these people over here a little bit more.
Yeah.
And if I can be like this bridge of like someone who's not creative at all and kind of what I'm seeing right now on Instagram of like these worship bass players who are like, oh, I should step up my tone. I should let's put a 7 under that 5. Like, whoa, it just wakes them up and you're like, dude, you can take where you are right now and just give it a little bit more. Like, that's all I am.
Yeah.
And I feel just this purpose now of like, let's get these people going. And I'm excited because it's people have been that for me.
Right.
And I thought I would be so like fulfilled being this like top gen creative bass player, just like, and now I'm here. I'm like, I would much rather be bridging the gap of those two types.
Yeah. And I think that's what draws people to you is, I think the bass players get a lot of crap from, just the regular music scene. And then in the worship world, I've seen so many posts about bass players. They're like, I wasn't even heard in the front of house mix this morning. I wasn't even whatever, all this stuff. And I think that just draws them to you because you are using these tones that are different from what you're supposed to use. It's different from the norm, which is just super refreshing in my opinion. I like to use a lot of dirt in my sound as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, dude, you're just, everything that you're doing, is really refreshing in the community, just in the bass world. And that's my hope for this channel. That's my hope for this video, is people see that they're drawn to you. My goal for this year is to shift this channel into a more bass forward just channel, because that's what does well on this channel. That's what I think is lacking in the community, is there are not very many YouTube worship focused bass players, stuff like that. So I'm really thankful for your page, really thankful for the content that you're putting out, dude. And I'm excited. Yeah, dude. I'm excited to see, where you're going, what is going to happen, and all that kind of stuff. So I have a question for you. Did this, it's not, but let's call it Instagram fame, is that what pushed you to start your own pedal company? Or was that kind of something that you had on the back burner, or or is that something that Instagram really pushed you to start and put stuff out?
Honestly, dude, I think it was because of the questions, because of my Instagram had kind of gotten bigger than it was. I had this pedal, Big Booty Judy. I had it made years ago. I think in 2017, and I've had it on my board ever since. And it's because these some of my reels people started seeing more of my stuff. It was a lot of people like, what the hell is that pedal?
Yes.
How are you getting that tone?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's just a custom. And by the time I had the 50th person who was like, dude, I will buy that from you right now. I was like, there's got to be something here. So I even I reached out to the guy who made it, and he's in Canada, and he was like, I hate making pedals now.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? He's like, I do it for my day job, not pedals, but soldering and stuff. He's like, I did it for just extra income 7 years ago when I built that for you.
Yeah.
He was like, but I will not do that again. Wow, he's like, but he's like, it was your circuit. I just built it. He's like, you have full reign to do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I was like, well, if people want this, let me just see if there's anybody local. I want to keep it as local as I can to make this. And it just kind of became that. I never wanted to be I'm an entrepreneur, right? I never had any idea of I'm going to start my own pedal company. But it was it was just seeing there's a want here.
Right.
Let's just test it.
Yeah.
So I had a friend, Luke Swanson, and he works for Emerson, so he knew how to make pedals, knew how to do solder, knew all that stuff. He taught me everything about what's in the pedal, what it does, why it sounds like that. And he made 6. I stamped them myself in my garage, and people were going nuts. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if I want to do this, but then I just thought about I posted it it's on my website, backburnernoise.com.
Yep.
And I'm just going to out them. Walrus was having this, Walrus Audio.
Dude.
They're so close. They're in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. It's an hour and a half away.
Yeah. There's
so many pedal companies in Oklahoma City. It's amazing.
Yes.
So I didn't even know they were here. I just saw somehow I was watching Deep Dive in the Devil Wears Prada, their new bass player, Mason, started playing Dingwall. So I was like, oh shit, they've never had good bass tone.
Right.
Now they got this new guy who actually cares about tone. And then he had a live from Walrus garage thing.
Yes,
I was like, oh, I had no idea they're in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So I started following them, and then they were posting we're doing, I don't know if they were the ones who actually started it, but they were we're a part of this pedal pop-up in Oklahoma City. And I was like, first off, that's fucking sick. I've never heard of anybody doing let's do a pedal pop-up.
Yeah.
And I thought there's going to be so much noise, you're not going to be able to hear anything.
Right.
And I thought dude, out of 9 companies or whatever, if none of these pedals companies bring a bass, I'm not driving an hour and a half to just try out a pedal on guitar.
Yeah.
And I was like, they had Walrus has the Badwater DI, there were other companies with bass specific pedals, and I was like, I'm an Eagle Scout, dude. So I was like, I'm not taking this risk. I'm gonna come prepared. I brought the grabber before it was pink, and nobody had a bass.
Sad, dude.
And I was like, what the hell? You have bass pedals.
Yes.
How are you going to use it? You're going to stand here owning a fireworks stand. They didn't have any bass. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I'm this fucking asshole coming in with this, carrying this bass around. Everyone's staring at me like,
They're like,
what is this guy
are
doing?
you doing here, bro?
I know. But I will say there were a lot of things about it I loved. Like they
Yeah.
had it in this like bar slash restaurant. So they like sectioned off, you could buy food and get drinks and everything. Every vendor was set up kind of in a rectangle, and you walk up and everything, every board is plugged into these headphones. You put the headphones on, you put the guitar, and you can isolate each pedal. You don't hear anything outside. That was done really well.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I don't have to like pretend I know what this pedal sounds like. So I brought the bass, tested every single pedal from every single vendor, and everyone I talked to was just like, I was like, hey, do you have bass pedals? Why didn't you bring a bass? Like, I don't know. We just, I don't know. You know, there's like, you could tell they just didn't think about it.
Right. It
And
wasn't
like,
even on their radar.
okay. Like, I know some of these companies have bass players
Yeah.
at their like company that helps make the bass pedal. But
Yeah.
even they were like, I'm like, I mean, you've seen it all the time. Like,
Yeah. That's just
how does this sound on bass?
Right.
Oh, I don't know. Probably good.
That's just another example of, you know, like I said before, bass players getting crapped on. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it was just a joke. I just felt like we were put on the. I mean, besides Dark Glass, which has been phenomenal, I have multiple Dark Glass pedals. I love that company. I love everything that they're doing. But if you're not a Dark Glass fanboy, then it's like, what are you left with? You're left with getting like a line selector and blending in your clean tone. And I mean, I watched Mitchell Cardenius do like a thing with JHS on, you know, can you use guitar pedals for, I don't know if you watched that, and he just uses like an EQ pedal at the end. And I'm like, that's cool, but like I want a blend on every drive that I have so I can adjust. And you can do it in the Stomp, you can do it in all those multi-effects pedals, you can blend your cleans. I'm just like, why, how can you do this through multi-effects units? You have to add a second pedal to do that. That's BS. Like I hate that. Everyone hates that. Everyone's talking about it, but no one's doing it. So I was like, listen, these 6 went off that I built with Luke, and I'm just going to fucking do this. And my wife has been super encouraging. Obviously, she's an entrepreneur. She started her own business, and it was like, we can do this. And there's a following here now, thank God, of like-minded bass players.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, I pre-ordered one.
I know, I saw it on there. I'm very excited.
Dude, I tried to get in on that initial run, but, you know, like they said, they were gone in like 30 seconds.
Bro, it was insane. You know, you think like, you invite 50 people to your birthday party when you're 6, and like, you're like, well, maybe 2 will show up. That's kind of what I felt like. I was like, please come to my party.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, do you think they sold that quick? And
well,
I don't know.
I'm super excited to be, you know, getting that here in the near future. And honestly, dude, I am a huge Walrus fanboy. I'm kind of in that. I'm kind of in that Mitchell camp. As I know, I saw you posted not too long ago about the JHS color box, and for me, I use it as a super simple, stupid way, but honestly, it just absolutely works for me. I don't use it to get my bass tone. I use it for 2 things. One is a straight DI, very good sounding DI. It's got those Lundell transformers in it. And then I use it for EQ and, you know, to tweak stuff. So I love guitar pedals on bass. You know, I haven't a problem, if you couldn't tell. This whole thing.
It's a good problem to have, unless you're your wife.
I guess so. But yeah, dude, I just love the idea of the clean blend. The Rat is one of my favorite circuits. Same. Yeah, dude, it's so good on guitar and bass. And yeah, dude, I'm just can't wait, and I'm excited.
Dude, you know what sold me on it was doing the actual Rat is. Someone had asked me, like, what's my favorite metal bass tone years ago? And I was like, honestly, if I could do whatever Grant did on Lost in the Sound of Separation, I was like, that bass tone is incredible.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what they did. And finally, I found like a deep dove, and he's like, it's just a white bass Rat.
Just a Rat.
And we clean blended it into an Ampeg 810.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I just need a Rat with the clean blend.
Yes.
And then as the more I started researching Rats, I was like, I want the regular and the turbo. Yeah. And it's not crazy, right? I'm not creating my own circuits out of thin air. Yeah. Everything's a copy of a copy.
Right.
And I think it's super cool that we have this community, because I think you probably know this, like, you used to like get shit on for doing anything nobody else liked. I mean, Strymon, Big Sky, you walk in with one of those and everyone's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you can use whatever you want as long as you sound good. And that's the thing. It's like people with I'm just going to go off on this tangent.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I love tangents.
Do it.
I don't like people asking me on Instagram, like, what do you think of this pedal? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? It's yours. Like, it's your tone. Yeah. Like, I don't like the tone hammer. I know lots of people that love the tone hammer. So who gives a shit what I think about that tone? Like, you need to go in and put the work for yourself. And if you love it, just like you love the color box, other people love the color box. Dude, find your own tone. And, like, you can start copying other people to where you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to copy Tim Comerford's tone. Like, and that'll get you in the right direction for whatever you like. But, like, dude, nothing beats sitting down and playing with it yourself and saying, I like this tone. Well, why do you like it? Just like I mentioned on my stories the other day, it's like the people with the Noble and the Cali 76 Big Box, it's like, well, I just saw someone who had that, so I dropped $5,000 on those. It's like, but do you know what they are? Do you know what they do? Are they your tone? No, I just saw.
Right.
I don't give a shit if you're running like $100 Behringer preamp. Like, does it sound good? Is it yours? Like, that's what I want. I want it. And now we have like a community of people that it's like, hey, dude, I don't like the color box. I don't like the tone hammer. Mm-hmm. But that's okay because I know tons of people who hate the Origin Effects bass rig, and that's totally fine. Yes. That's not it's not my tone. It's your tone.
Right.
Like, find your own and love it and do it.
And that's how you create
your own sound. Exactly. It's okay. I don't give a shit if you're gonna run 7 JHS orange slice, whatever those things are called, compressors. And the one with the dirt, one without it. It's just like, if that's your tone, do it.
Yeah, dude.
I don't care. Like, if you love it, good.
Yes.
It'll turn into something. And it'll be your tone, and people will then seek you and be like, I want that tone, whatever that guy has. The white face rat and the Ampeg 810. That's what I want. Like, dude, do your own. Like, yes, if you want my opinion on a pedal, whatever, I'll give it to you. But
that doesn't necessarily.
Go to the store. Plug it in. And play it yourself.
Yeah, dude. I have tried so many pedals. I've been through so many, whatever, DIs, this, that.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I don't run any amps anymore, and I don't think anyone in the worship world is running amps anymore. But dude, HX Stomp, I know you don't have much experience with that, and that's okay, dude. But
that's okay, and that's the thing. If you and I were in the same state, in the same city, I would come over and I would spend like 15 hours with you, and I would have you walk me through it. And who knows? Maybe like I hated the Stingray. I hated it. I felt like it sat on top of the mix or got buried underneath. And now, of course, it's just like God's will. I'm forced to play 2 things I hated: a 5-string and a Stingray. And now it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude. And
it's not like my tone, but like it's the same thing. Like with the Stomp.
Yes.
I'm not against it. I just have never had a second with it.
Exactly. And like everybody's different and everything like that. But to me, it just makes sense. The way I use it, the way I've sat down with it, spent hours upon hours. Like you said, you build you build your tone, you shape your tone however you want to. And if you sound good and if you play pretty decent, you'll get the job. And that's what happened to me is, I'm not very good technically, like skill wise, but I keep getting invited back to play, man. So I know that's what you just got to keep doing. You keep figuring stuff out. So I mean, I encourage to those who are watching and listening, it takes time and it takes experience with certain stuff. And you don't have to do exactly what everyone else is doing. I played a Noble. I'm not good enough to make that thing worth it.
I'm right there with you.
I'm just not. And like you spend like $1,500 and it's a year wait, or you find one on the secondary market. It's like $2,000 to $3,000. It's like, dude, I'm not into it. I use the Jam Pedals Dinosaur bass version.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude, for my compressor, it's like $150, $200, and it's so simple. 2 knobs. That's all you got to set. Let's.
I love those.
Yeah, dude.
Simple knobs, like cheap.
Yeah.
But they're like their quality. I love jam pedals.
Yes.
Like, their quality, and they're not too expensive.
Right.
And they're simple.
Dude.
I don't need like spider eyes looking at me. Like I don't know what I'm touching. Something gets moved and I have a panic attack. I'm trying to figure out what happened.
17 knobs on a pedal.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, I don't know.
Flashing lights, LED screens. It's like, oh gosh. Yeah. Dude, jam pedals is great. All hand built, all hand painted, and
they're all hand painted?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Dude,
I'm pretty sure that's their thing. And then you have the bass versions on top of that, and they are. That's just crazy that a company is doing that.
They know the market. There's a need.
Yeah, dude. So let's get into some of your gear. I know like that's a hot topic for your following and stuff like that, and I'm pretty interested as well. Let's start off on the bass wise.
Okay.
What is like your number one, I guess, and what direction do you what direction do you go to? Are you the P side of things? Are you the J side of things? What did you grow up on, and how are you where you are now? And that's a lot, but we can unpack that.
It's a lot. I'll start with the last one. I grew up on. I had an ESP LTD B50, which was like a PJ piece of crap, but the neck was super long.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I was like trying to be that cool guy that was like, I will never play a P bass. Everyone around me, like all these bands that we were touring with, Chosen 18-3, The Wedding, they're like white P bass, straight to an 810.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't get that at all, dude. Like, no, you should check out. I was an ESP LTD B50, and then I got this Traven. God, it sounded great. The neck felt great, but it had this like. You can find a picture of it later. It was called an Array Obsession.
Yeah.
And it had the bridge. They're known for like their bridges being like this massive chrome metal flame that goes up on top of the body. And it was like done well, but also not. Like it's cool to play a show with. And then I turn around on Sunday morning, I'm playing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's a little weird. And from there, dude, I don't know. I was a huge, you know what did it for me was AFI. I was never a fan of them. And then they came out with December Underground.
Yeah.
And his bass tone, Hunter's bass tone on that is just straight jazz bass. And I was like, I have to get a jazz bass.
Yeah, dude.
And I started researching like some of my favorite tones of the bands. And I was like, oh, it's a jazz bass. It's a jazz. And I was like, then this is it. I got a Geddy Lee jazz bass. And I was like, I'm never looking back.
Yeah.
And I was a jazz bass dude for a long time. I mean, I still have one right there. It does certain things so well. It was... I really got into hardcore stuff, and it just does hardcore so perfect.
It does. Yes, dude. I'm kind of in the same vein. I started on a Squire Affinity PJ, and I would always play on the J pickup. I couldn't get down with the P. Moved on to Made in Mexico 5-string like deluxe or whatever they're called.
Nice.
Yeah, and then just up and down from there. I went to that Road Worn series. I went to the P, the Fiesta Red.
I had one.
Dude.
Yeah, I think every bass player has had one. Those things are incredible.
They are. They're underrated.
So underrated.
Yeah, dude. So then sold that. Went to the Flea signature.
Nice. Which one?
In the Road Worn. The
pink. Pink Jazz.
Yeah, the pink Jazz.
I had one too.
Yeah,
so
dude.
Good.
Yeah, so
Stack
good.
knobs.
Right. So then I've upgraded. After that, I went to this direction.
Yeah, don't show me that thing because every time I look at it, I'm like, what can I sell to buy this? Yeah, dude. So I love that bass.
This is kind of a funny story. It sat on his store for years, like 2 years, I think. And I saw it and I was like, dude, when that's going to be I need that. So it sat there. I would watch it. I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's right there. It's right there. And then I had this opportunity. I sold my car. And
what?
Yeah, I picked this up.
No way. You sold the car for the bass?
Yes.
Oh
yes,
my God.
dude. Yeah. So it's here. And this is, I would consider this my number one.
Do you have a car now?
I do have a car now. I do. I was carless for a little bit, but
that's commitment.
This was worth it, dude. And
absolutely.
So this is the best of both worlds, I think. This is the jazz body, and then you got the P in the neck, which sounds killer. This is a Lawler. I guess this is like custom wound to his specifics. The guy that builds these, his name is Jim out of Minnesota.
Okay.
Awesome guy.
What's the name of the company?
It's called Glory Guitars.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a veteran, just retired veteran. He puts these guys together, and just good dude. He gave me a worship player discount, so that's cool.
That's cool.
So Lawler in the bridge or in the neck, and then we got this TV Jones Thunderblade in the bridge.
You know what's interesting? I've never seen one with that setup.
Yeah, I haven't either. And
how does it sound to you, like compared?
Yeah, it's money. So this, this P is always on, and then you got this switch right here. This activates your Thunderblade. So I think the P is very bright. It's not necessarily that classic P sound, in my opinion. And then I always play with this Thunderblade on. I think that's the magic, because you throw that on, and even though it's in the bridge, it darkens your tone up a little bit. And dude, this with some dirt on it, oh my gosh, it's killer.
Thunderblade?
Yeah. Thunderblade.
Why have I never? I've never seen another bass with even that pickup in it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple now that I've owned that and just pop up, but
is it a humbucker?
Yeah, it's like a rail humbucker, and it looks like a Gretsch pickup, like the shape of a Gretsch pickup, but it's got two rails on it. It's killer, and that was my number one for a long time. I'd still consider that number one, but I traded a Les Paul for this guy right here. This is a Sir Classic J. It's kind of,
dude, I love their headstocks.
Yeah, dude, they
look like shark fins to me.
Yeah. And so this is what I've been playing more recently, which is kind of totally out there for me. When I got it had a white pick guard, so I contacted Sir, got that black pick guard because it had all the black hardware and all that stuff on there. It's got two EMGs, and then it's an 18-volt active preamp.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, dude. So I don't love the active stuff.
Okay.
But the neck on this guy, and honestly, it sounds, I don't 100% know how to describe it. I think like the hotter pickups, it's almost like high headroom or something like that.
Yeah.
Like when you add gain to it, it has that distortion, but it also like is still kind of clear. Like you almost still have that clean tone, and it's a great bass. So that's awesome. That's what I've been playing more recently. But yeah, dude, the jazz bass.
What year is that?
I believe this is 22, I think. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think,
is that silver?
Yeah, it's like a silver mist. Yep.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's
love a good mist.
Right. Yeah, dude. It's got the sparkles in it. The neck is like the best neck I've ever played. Is
it jazz bass neck, or is it more of a P bass neck?
Yeah, it's a jazz bass neck, and then it's got a satin finish on the back, and it's
the only way
smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth. Yeah. So take us through your number one, what you like to play these days, and all that sort of stuff.
I'm that guy, so I'm wearing shorts. You get to see my legs.
Hey, that's all right. Oh yeah, baby. Yes,
this is Maine, dude. So okay. So I had the Geddy Lee, right?
Yeah.
And then I kept going back and forth between the Geddy Lee and the Trabe and Array Obsession, and then I discovered Thrice.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, I don't care what I have to do to get this bass tone.
Yeah.
And of course, Kalen, I was in a band with Kalen at the time, and he was like, it's just Gibson Grabber. So sold both basses, saved up, bought one. It was 1973. And I was like, this is it. This is like my tone. Yeah. I felt it was the first one of like, oh my God, this feels, and it was so like, I could pick it up and it just inspires creativity.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is it. And then, stupidly, Gibson came out with the reissues.
Yeah.
And I sold it for a reissue G3.
Oh, man.
Which the reissue G3 sucked.
Yes.
It sucked so bad, dude.
So bad.
And such a huge miss. The only thing I liked about it, I mean, they kept the body shape, but the 3 pickups were garbage.
Yeah.
But they had that like matte black, satin black. Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But everything else about it sucked.
Right.
So then for 10 years, dude, I haven't gotten another one just because I moved to Los Angeles. I was super broke.
Yeah.
And finally we moved to Tulsa, and I told my wife, I was like, listen, you've known this. I'm working overtime for the next 4 months, and I'm going to buy another grabber.
Yeah.
And I bought it. I worked super overtime. I got it, and then I saved up enough just to get it painted because I wanted the shell pink.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen one, and I was like, I told her, I was like, I'm getting another one. I'm never selling it. I'm painting it pink, and this is mine.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, you cannot let me sell it. I don't care how old I am or what phase I'm going through. I will die with this bass.
Yeah, get buried with it.
Yeah,
Bury me with it.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, no one can have it. If there's a house fire, this is the only one I'm grabbing. Like,
yeah,
this is it. It's 74. Again, nothing crazy, right? There's nothing in it. It's just a grabber with a grabber pickup. And I don't know, dude. It's just every time I touch it, the super thin body, but it's a big body. I'm a bigger guy. Like,
yeah.
It looks good on me.
Yeah.
It feels good. The tone wise, like it's just it's a P bass, but it's like voiced to me.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more aggressive than a P bass, and I just was like, this is the one. 90% of the time, I will grab this one because it fits.
Yeah.
Like I can do heavy stuff with it. I can do worship stuff with it. It sits so well in a mix.
Yeah, dude.
And I don't know, man. It's so aggressive. Like fingers, pick. Everything. This is number one.
Beautiful.
So that's it. That's
Love
the best
it.
one.
Love it.
Right. Who doesn't like a grabber?
Exactly. Yeah, dude.
And then what do we got? This is the Katana, which is just dude. Okay, so P bass guy, right? Yeah. I was a jazz bass guy, and then you get older and your ears changes, and I was like, actually, all these records with P basses on them are sounding really good. Yeah. So I had a couple P basses. I traded up, traded out, sanded them down, and I was like, I can't just be another P bass guy.
Yeah,
like, there's got to be something.
Got to do something. Yeah.
It's got to be something, and I don't even know how I came across this, but I was like, there's no fucking way Fender made this.
Yeah,
and they did, and in the '80s, no pit guard, right? Just of course, dude, it's so weird because if you take this like penis-looking pit guard off of it. And then the gloss black, it looks so 80s.
Yeah.
But I don't know, they approached this guy in Japan. I'm not even going to attempt to say his name because I'm going to butcher it. Yeah. I'm going to sound super white. And they were like, we want to make you custom bass. It was like this killer bass player in Japan. And he was like, I don't want a signature model. Like, bring back the Katana and let me do some stuff to it.
Yes.
So he had the pick guard. He upgraded the pickups, the neck thinner.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the headstock, it's like a fucking sword, dude. It's like a katana.
Killer. Yes.
And then I don't even know if I'm going to try to show you this without knocking everything off my desk. But even the logo, it's an actual katana.
Yes.
Under the name Fender. It's just, I saw this and I was like, dude, I don't give a shit what it costs. Yeah. I'm buying this. And
absolutely
it came in black,
killer.
and it came in white, and it came in pink, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I do give a shit how much it costs because I can't afford a $2,500 P bass. But I found some dude. I don't know if you follow him, Patrick Hunter.
Sounds familiar.
He's a bass guy on Instagram. He's one of those, like, he grew up in Dallas. I grew up in Dallas, but we never connected until after I moved away.
Yeah,
and
that's just always how it goes.
Yes. Why is that? So I told him, I was like, dude, I'm looking for this bass. If you can find one, let me know. And within like 10 minutes, after I'd spent days searching for one, he's like, here's one on Talk Bass in Michigan. And I messaged the guy and I got it. And that was this one. And again, realistically, it's a P bass.
Yeah.
It's just a P bass. I upgraded the pickups. I sanded down the neck.
Okay.
So nothing.
Of course.
I road worn it because I mess everything up. So I can't have anything nice. So it might as well just relic it in the first place. So, dude, this is like my sound guy JB at church, he's like, this is the best sounding, like anything we've ever had in this room. This is the best sounding one. The Grabber's a close second, but we got like two electrics, 2 acoustics, 3 keys players. It's like the P bass, just the way this is.
Yeah.
It sits so well, but still cuts.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, another one. It's like, you get it. You have one. It's like you can't not have a P bass in the arsenal.
Right. Yeah.
So, and eventually that sound will fade out, right?
Yeah.
But until then.
Yeah, and that's how I got. Just throw it in a jazz bass body, dude.
And the jazz bass body is the most comfortable body I mean, I'm sure Mark Hoppus gets it. Like, it's so comfortable.
100%.
That's why you see all these like gospel guys with jazz bass bodies.
Yeah.
These skinny punk dudes jazz bass body. It's just there's something about that body.
Yeah.
It's just home.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
it is
is
the bass body.
It is.
Yeah, dude.
So that's that, and then obviously I have my jazz bass, which I've had since 2017.
Yes.
I'm actually trying to sell it. But Road Worn, Mary Kay, Seymour Duncan's, and this is kind of like phased out.
Yeah.
At least for me, like I've kind of gotten past the jazz bass tone.
Gotcha.
Onto other things.
Yeah.
But for like a decade, it was like this is all I played. Just a jazz bass, and again, nothing crazy. It's just a Fender neck, Seymour Duncan pickups. But you have one. Just why is it? And correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of you said it previously. Like, why are we kind of turned off on the jazz bass stuff now?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe.
Were you ever a jazz bass guy?
Yeah, so that's my thing. I would say that's my thing.
Okay.
The body, like we just talked about, absolutely killer. I think maybe it has something to do with I don't know how you played it, but I always played a jazz bass to both pickups on all the time.
Yeah, same.
Like for me, that's basically a humbucker.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. Like the P bass is more simple, I guess, and maybe that's why I'm drawn to it. It's the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Like when I found the Glory, it's like P pickup in a jazz bass body. Like duh, that's a no brainer.
No brainer. Yeah.
And then this is a jazz bass, but it's not.
But it's not.
Yeah. I mean, you got the EMGs, and it's just like a new age jazz bass, I guess. But I don't know. I think like you said, your ears change. There are trends, and whether you're following that or not, I think that definitely does play into it subconsciously, maybe.
Yeah.
What people on Instagram are playing and all that. I see a lot of P basses out there right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not
you
know
sure.
What's
crazy is someone had posted like I asked some questions on Instagram, and someone was like hardcore tone, and I just did what a general hardcore tone was: jazz bass, Ampeg, push, but not like just make it punch.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of people that were like, actually, right now everyone's switching to P basses.
Everybody
for hardcore. I'm like, for hardcore, how does that work? Because it's such. I don't know if people are just.
Yeah.
It's just the time that people are not feeling the jazz right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree, and I think like for me, I just can't. I've owned P basses. I've had that Road Worn. I bought one of those 75th anniversary commemorative, the gold hardware, the crazy burst, dude. It was a great bass. It had I think it was a 52, like the custom shop 52 P bass pickup, dude.
Yep.
One of the best sounding pickups I've had in a bass. It sounds so good, but I can't do the body anymore. I don't know why. I can't do the P body. So
I know.
Like I came to the Glory jazz bass body P pickup. I mean,
it's the best of both worlds.
I know. You can't.
Why are more people not? It's funny because when Mark Hoppus came out with his signature, and that was his like jazz bass body P bass pickups, I was like, something about this is off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's like everyone wants that bass.
It looks so funky, but I mean, I think what makes this work is that like that funky Thunderblade, that
it
weird
fits that hole.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, it just works, but yeah, dude. A lot of cool stuff out right now. I'm not into the super. I had a Sandberg 48, which is like the Thunderbird style.
How was that? Because I've seen people playing it, and I haven't actually played one in person. But is it comfortable? It kind of looks super uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I like it sitting down. I think it's really nice to play. It the craftsmanship. I've heard different things about the craftsmanship, but the one I had was impeccable. The relic was very nice. The neck was smooth. Frets were super low, so your action was really low, and you could play really fast on it.
Interesting.
Standing up, you get that elongated, because it's pushed just because of the shape of it. So you're like playing like this.
Yeah.
So I definitely hit some wrong notes, like, because I'm like, oh, that's not where this is where it should be, but it's down here.
You got to relearn.
Yeah. And what did it for me was the pickups. I couldn't do it.
What was the wood made out of, the body?
I think it was, I don't even remember now. You stumped me, man. I don't remember what.
What was it? Was it too dark?
I don't know. I don't know if it was. I looked for replacement pickups for a long time that would fit in that carve or cavity or whatever you want to call it, and I couldn't find anything, so I ended up selling it. But it was active, had that active preamp, but could also go passive. Had a push pull, active or passive.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that was nice. I just couldn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't my sound.
Yep.
So moved on from it, but like craftsmanship wise, playability was awesome.
That's awesome.
So yeah, dude. I don't know.
Isn't it nice to know like what's you like?
Yeah.
I had a couple Mustang basses and they sounded killer, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's not me.
Yeah, dude. I feel the same way about the Mustang. I've had a Mustang before, and I've always been a bass player. I've never, I wasn't a drummer. I wasn't a guitar player. Always a bass player. Yeah. So I can't do the short scale thing.
I can't. It's such an adjustment. And every time I go up to do something, it's like I played one for a solid 6 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, I still am not.
It's weird.
It's not comfortable to me.
They do. They sound really good because it's like a P almost. But you get that P kind of sound. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't do it. Couldn't do the short scale thing.
It's weird because it was at that time the JMJ came out.
Yeah.
And then I got obsessed with all he was doing with the Midnight City record and then I saw he was on tour with St. Vincent playing bass live, and then I got to hear what he was doing with it live, and I was like, this is sounding so good.
Yeah.
But just then sitting down to play it, it's if I could and then I had a bullet bass for a while, which is it's the Mustang pickups in a P bass body, full scale.
Yep.
I loved that thing.
Yeah.
I ended up selling it because I was super broke, but
yeah.
Dude, I tell you what, if Fender released a new bullet bass, jazz bass body, maybe.
Oh, that
I would get it. I would so get it.
That would be. I could see them doing. I don't know if you remember,
a Paranormal.
Yeah, that or the pawn shop they did back in the day.
Oh, dude, I wanted those. I still want those pawn shop Mustangs.
Yeah, dude, that would be sick. You could do jazz bass body with P pickup or something. That would be awesome. So, talking about basses we don't like. You're using the Stingray.
I'm putting this up, but keep talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
dude, this is.
Yeah, grab that thing. So
disgusted.
I want to hear the story of. First of all, I know why you're using it, but we need to let the people know why you're using it, and then how you got involved in the reason you're using it.
Okay, so Instagram, right? It just kind of blew up.
Yeah.
And then the drummer and the MD of this artist named Corey Kent reached out to me and was like, hey, our bass player is he's busy. We got these 3 shows at the end of the. Luckily, Dace from Corey Kent is like the most prepared guy I've ever met. He reached out to me with like 3 months advance.
Oh,
and he
wow.
was like, "There's like 25 songs you need to learn, but you have 3 months to learn them."
That's money.
So thank God. You hear those stories of like, yeah, they gave me the set list a day before and I learned it, and just like, this is not that. It was like I had plenty of time, which is awesome. Thank God for Dace.
Yeah.
And he was like, our bass player's out for these 3 shows at the end of the month. They're all stadium shows. I was free, so I was like, let me listen to the music first, because I'm a big believer in like, I don't want to play for anybody or any music that I don't like myself or believe in.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me listen to it first, because country can go either way, right?
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah.
And I listened to it and I was like, okay, there's some solid songwriting here. Like, the songs are good. And then I watched a bunch of live videos and I was like, oh, he leans heavy into rock for the live shows. So I was like, okay. Then of course you deep dive like what their bass player was playing. So he had like, sometimes he's using a 4-string P, sometimes using a 5-string J. He had like a modulus at one point, and I was like, okay, well, he's kind of not all over the place, but like he's experimenting with a couple different things.
Right.
So Dace was very like open. He's like, hey, I found you on Instagram. I want you to be you. So first 3 shows I played the Pink Grabber and then the Katana, and it crushed. But I could tell like some of the songs there was the low B. So I was like, today I just picked up before I jump on this, my G3 was getting refretted. So
nice.
I was like, that's my BEAD bass. So I was like, well, I don't have that right now.
Yeah.
And Dace was like, I have this 5-string Music Man Stingray. And my immediate thought was, no, there's no fucking way I'm playing that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And he was like, just try it.
Yeah.
And so I have a friend, his name's Nathan. He plays guitar at Church in the Move. And he's also a bass player, and he has a 5-string, which I actually have in the case over there, because I borrowed his same exact bass, just different paint scheme.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt like a child who like wrecked a car or something. I was like, hey, can I borrow your 5-string? Right?
He's like, what?
I know. He's like, I never thought this day would come. And so I borrowed it and I started playing it. I learned everything. Dude, transitioning from a 4 to a 5, I don't know if you've ever tried it.
Yeah.
I feel like a beginner. Because you go to like, you're playing the E and you go to slide up and then change strings. And now all of a sudden, like my right hand's over the G, but I'm playing on the D. And I'm like, I am going to punch something. I was so frustrated. It took me like 4 days to finally like learn this set. And it's one of those things of like listening to the recordings. I was like, I can probably get away with BEAD.
Yeah. And
then as I played it more and more, they utilize that G string so much.
Yeah.
A lot of like octave stuff, like they'll hit the low D and then they'll do like the 1/3 up top.
Yeah.
And hit that. And there's some like filler stuff up here that they do. And I'm like, I have to have this G string.
Right.
So then I needed a 5-string. And I'm not going to buy a 5-string right now. Like, God knows how long this is going to last.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And then, so I played the 3 shows. He said, actually, we have 3 more at the end of January if you could play those. And then I just asked, I was like, what's going on? Like, is your bass player sick? Like, is some... Yeah. And he was like, well, he's been in the band a long time. We all want him to tour. He wants to tour, but he just had a newborn baby. And he's making family a priority, which you can never get mad at anybody for that.
Exactly, yeah.
And actually, I have his number. We talked because I like to get both sides of the story.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm taking over someone's position, possibly. So,
yeah.
Because it could have been like, he's a piece of trash and everyone hated him.
Yeah.
And then you like... Or it was mutual, yeah. It was so mutual. He had a baby and he was going to go. And then I talked to him and he's like, they kicked me out for no reason. So you try to like...
Yeah.
That's not what happened, thank God. Luckily, the story was true both ways. But just talking with him and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I love a good challenge. Like when I first started playing with Mosaic MSC, I thought it was hot shit coming in there. And then my first set, they were like, you're not going to play bass, you're going to play synth bass. And I was like, I've never touched a synth bass in my life.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's what you're doing for the next, like, 7 weeks.
Wow.
It's only synth bass. And God has this way. I kind of said earlier, I don't know why he does this to me, of like making me feel like this is your craft and you're doing really great at your craft. And then he presents you with an opportunity where you have to do something that you never wanted to do, or like, or so uncomfortable
Yeah.
doing. It's
Yeah.
like with Mosaic, here's the synth bass. And then with the Corey Kent stuff, it's like, here's a 5-string Stingray.
Stingray.
And I'm like, God, I don't want to do this with the Stingray. Does anybody have a jazz bass that I can borrow? Or I hate the five string piece. But
Yeah.
and you know what's frustrating is I learned it, I played it, I just did 3 shows with it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good on me. I've always loved the way that they do these, like, you see it, it's almost like Dunnable.
Yeah,
has
yeah,
this, like they curve the top.
Yeah, yeah,
yes, yeah. And they don't do that. I hate the 4-string bodies of Stingrays.
Yeah,
it looks like you just pulled it out of a Cracker Jack. Just like, this is the dumbest looking thing.
A kid's meal.
But
yeah.
Yes, it is a kid's meal. So that's what it looks like. Thank God someone else gets it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I would love for them to make a 5-string
mm-hmm.
body and a 4-string.
Yeah.
And I've been talking back and forth with them these past couple weeks. And even them, even the guys there that I'm talking to were like, hey, listen, we would love that. We're bass players. But realistically, it would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. So
wow. That's crazy.
I was like, I even said, well, how about because these are balls expensive.
Yeah.
I would never, to be honest, buy one.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a Sterling
by
Music Man. So I said, what if we did a Sterling by Music Man one? And that would actually be more expensive because we have to do everything overseas. And
wow.
we're cutting new body shapes. And
wow.
So I was like, you know what? I may just have to do it. So I tried this out. I did the 3 shows with it. And you know what sucks? It sounded good in the mix. In the mix,
yeah.
By itself,
is
take it or leave it. It's not the best, but in the mix, that's what we go for. Yeah. And I brought my jazz bass, I brought the grabber, I brought the katana, I bought my jazz bass in a BEAD setting, and then we tried this, and this just sounded the best.
Yeah.
And when you're 19 years old, you go, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna play what I want.
Yep.
But when you are trying to be a professional, you go, okay.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd say this, but let's go with the 5-string Stingray.
Yeah, right.
And, dude, I don't, even now I'm like, what if I, still trying to, weasel my way out of it.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what you need. All right, I wasn't expecting
Are you 5-string jazzing it right now?
So, I cut my teeth on a 5-string. I really did. I played... That deluxe Mexican that I bought, it was a 5-string. I played that for 4 years exclusively. So nice. 5 strings, well, it is what it is. I love a 4, and I'll probably play a 4 forever. But I had to have a 5 in the arsenal just in case. But this is what you need. This is made in the USA.
Was that burgundy?
So this is purple.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so this is a 5-string jazz.
Okay.
Passive.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Neck through. Okay.
Yep. And I can't remember the series or anything of, what these were, but
it works. Sounds good.
It works. Sounds good. It's a jazz bass with
the
5 strings. Yeah, so it's killer. I know B's kind of it's hit or miss on the B string. Yeah. This one is not the best I've played, but it's not the worst I've played. So it gets the job done for the 5-string, but it's definitely more at home. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I mean, if I end up having to buy one, which I probably will because that's who I am, after I sell one of these, I'm going to look into that hard.
Yeah.
Because, again, jazz body. Yeah. And the jazz tone. Maybe the jazz tone will be better for the 5-string.
Yeah. And, look into this. And then, you know what? They have the Strandberg stuff.
Yes.
They have, I'm not familiar with the model names and stuff that they have, but they have, a Stingray style. I think you would like the body style more than a Stingray, but it's like the Stingray pickups.
Okay.
So I'll have to look that up and send it to you after. But
yeah, right on.
Yeah, dude. Anyway.
Look at you popping out things I didn't even know you had.
Yeah, I don't play it very often. I played a 5-string for so long. Yeah. I just use the sub on my HX Stomp. And I'm like, it's not the same, but no one's gonna.
When you don't need it for that, like
no one's gonna say any different.
I watched an interview with Sean Hurley, and he's known. He's got a custom shop Fender 4-string, like. But he even said, like, I have a Lakeland 5, and you have to have a 5-string because you just sometimes the gig calls for it. 5% of the time.
Exactly. Yeah, so I got that off of a guy that was from this other church that I had been playing at. He was like he was like retiring from music, just getting out of the game, and he sold it to me. I was like, yeah, dude, sick. But yeah, let's talk.
Color.
Yeah, dude. Let's talk. Let's talk about some of your favorite pedals, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Put a bow on it. You don't have to take us through your whole rig, but take us through like some superstars on your board.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna grab it.
Yeah.
It used to be ever changing, and now I've kind of like gotten into a point where this is more me. This is and maybe in years, like I said, we talked about it. Sounds change. Your year changes.
Yeah.
But if I could only pick, here's the deal. Let's just say 3 pedals, right?
Yeah.
It's the Origin Effects.
Yes.
I feel like I'm holding a baby.
Basically are.
I would shake this baby. Don't hand me your baby, I will shake it. This bass rig. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I've had this before.
Mm-hmm.
Never loved it.
Yeah.
And then I sold it and I missed it. And then the only reason, like, I would never rock this by itself.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
But when you pair it with the B7K,
yeah,
dude, if I could, like, if someone was like, and I might just fucking do it with back burner. This pedal and this pedal, the B7K and the bass rig together in one pedal.
Yeah. That's
what I would want. This is my, like, if I turn everything off, these two never turn off.
Right.
And that's like, if all I could have was these two and then a big booty Judy, like that's all I would need.
Yeah.
99% of everything I would need is done with that.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, these two will never leave.
Love that. Yeah.
And of course, you sell it and then you realize, oh, I missed that.
Right.
That actually was the best sounding SVT sound I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But in conjunction with the B7K, I'm not a vintage guy. Like, the guy from Origin Effects reached out to me and was like, hey, I see you're rocking the Dark Glass. What would you like, the DCX? And no, like, it's a great sounding pedal and it's a great company, but it's not, again, it's not my sound.
Exactly. Yeah.
Too vintagey, warm tube. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't have the micro tubes here.
Yeah.
The vintage, like, something about these two together, it's just like vintage meets modern.
Does it?
It just does it.
Yeah.
No matter what bass it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is making, and I hate that I'm saying this again, I think that's what's making the Stingray sound so good.
Yeah.
Is these two.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I wanted to pick up the Origin for a long time. When it first came out, I was like, dude, I need one of those because that's what I run. That's what I run in the Stomp is the SVT sound. So,
do you? Okay.
I'm gonna need to check that out, dude.
Dude, you just grab it and then pair it with a drive, because they have a drive on it, but it took me the longest time to, like, a push preamp is not an overdrive.
Yeah.
And an overdrive is my bare minimum, so
right.
That's why I have the Dark Glass. But, like, if you use it like a semi-push preamp and then throw another dirt on top of it, it's gold.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I love that.
I don't know what the hell they put in both of these two to make it sound so good.
Right. That's like,
together.
Way over my
the
head.
stacking makes no sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. And for a while I had the Dark Glass Atom and the Infinity, and I tried, but I'm just not a Dark Glass fanboy. Like, I love certain things that they make, but they're very kind of niche into one area.
Yeah.
And dude, those two. And then like I try to keep all utilitarian things that on this top row.
Yeah.
So like wireless, compressor stays on all the time, B7K is on all the time. This is a noise gate because it's noisy as hell. You got single coil pickups.
Yeah.
The preamps on all the time. The tuners bypassed but on all the time. Like, so everything back here is just utilitarian.
Yeah.
I don't have to touch it.
Right. Yep.
And then the magic is just on the bottom row with an octave, microsynth, Big Booty Judy OG. This is a delay I built, but it doesn't. It's only on there to fill space until I get a second Big Booty Judy to put on there.
Yeah.
And then I run the first one like a super fuzz.
Okay.
And then I run the second one like a crazy overdrive.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
And then the chorus.
Yep. Have to have a chorus, dude.
Yep. I use that, dude, probably in a worship set.
Yeah, dude.
Probably 40% of the time.
Yeah.
Anytime there's something down,
yes,
I'll use it.
I agree.
It just gives it this texture.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. That's kind of I lean towards more of like the mini boards, the smaller boards. I have my bass board right now is the Temple boards.
You posted it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the Solo 18.
Yeah. It looks so good.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
Look at that. Oh, it looks so clean.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so this is what I'm rocking, and this is like, it's funny because this is like almost the total opposite of yours.
but it sounds good.
Right, dude.
Again, find your tone.
Yeah, so I have a microsynth. I have, I'll be getting the Big Booty Judy, so I am very tempted to go back to a bigger board that I have, so that might be in the near future. But honestly, this is all I need right here. We got the TU3.
Yep.
The Jam Dinosaur compressor.
Nice.
Then it hits the kilt.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I love the kilt on bass. It has that it's got a low cut. So it's not the blend, but you bring those lows back in. And then we hit the stomp. And then in the stomp I have 2 choruses, a fuzz, a rat.
Nice.
2 different octave settings. And then I hit my amp tones.
Nice.
And then out into the color box.
What are you running amp-wise in there?
So I use the SVT with an 8x10 cab. And then the secret for the stomp is you have to run the amp and cab separate. So
interesting. Why is that?
So they have the ability, they have blocks that save DSP that have the amp and the cab combined.
Okay.
And then you get less tweakability, and then like it's less DSP for your stomp, but if you run the amp and cab separate, you get a little more tweakability, and it sounds better in my opinion.
Okay.
So I mimic the microsynth with like the fuzz and a certain octave setting.
Nice.
And then I have those 2 choruses in there. One is like a really slow rate, super lush, and then the other one is kind of like almost like it's faster, and like the depth is super cranked, so it's like different chorus sound. But I can do everything with that right there.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Exactly.
Man, good looking board. Did you wire it up yourself?
Yeah, I did. We got the ESB, just the flat patch cables.
Nice.
The True Tone 1 spot. I love the True Tone stuff.
How long have you had that?
The True Tone?
Power. Yeah. Does it hold up? Because I've debated. I got the Strymon Zuma stuff, but honestly, they're a little thick for my liking.
Yeah. So I love the True Tone stuff. I've had 3 different power supplies from them. For the total of my career, I guess. I've never had one break, never had one shut down or anything like that.
Okay.
The only thing on the bigger units, like they have a 12 output one, you kind of lose some outputs because one is an AC, and then it has 2 18-volt like devoted slots.
Okay. Yeah, you have. Can you toggle between, or is they're strictly 18?
It's strictly 18.
Okay.
And then it has other slots where you can do 9, 12, or 18 or whatever like that.
Nice.
So this smaller one has all 9, and then you can toggle between 12 and 18. This is the CS. What is this? This is the 6. So the thing I like about the True Tone stuff is you can run the stomp off of one unit, off of one singular power.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to have the split cable that takes up 2 of your slots.
Okay.
You do good. Yeah, you do one, and then you do the red adapter and then the green adapter that they give you. But yeah, I like their stuff a lot. And the 18-volt thing is not like super bad when you're using bass pedals, because there's a lot of stuff that I have found on the bass side that you can run at 18 volts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's back and forth, I'd say.
Okay.
The bigger units are kind of thick. They're on the thick side. But
I'll check it out. I need to check it out. I've never actually given them a chance, but I've never heard one bad thing about them.
Yeah. I can't say anything bad about them. They just work.
Okay. That's all you need in a power supply. They just work.
Yeah. I think that's probably the most overlooked thing when you're building a board. You need that solid, noiseless power source. Because when you get in that church building, you get those lights, bro. It's over.
Built in like the 1920s.
It's over.
Hey, let's plug all the lights in, and then the bass goes in there too. You're like, let's put the fog machine next to it, and it'll spew all over your shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, dude. That's hilarious.
Power.
Yeah, dude. So, dude, this has been so fun. I just love this opportunity to get to talk to you.
I've never done one of these, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, I was like, don't tell me the questions. And then like an hour before, I was like, oh my God, what are the questions?
Yeah, I love how it goes.
So
I love how it goes because I didn't even use half of them, to be honest with you.
Oh, right on. Okay.
So, dude, any closing remarks, anything you want to say, have at it. The floor is yours.
Dude, I will just say, again, and like I've said it before, find your own tone. Like you said, our boards are almost polar opposite. Yeah. And it works for you. And I love your tone. And my tone works for me. And
I love your tone.
Thank you. And it's the thing is like, yes, I hate a Stingray. Like, but now like God will find a way to suck you into something that you hate.
Because he has that sense of humor.
Make sure you spend the time to appreciate it. Yes, he does. And I hate it.
Yeah.
But I love it. Yeah. Just find your own tone. Do the work. Put in and like wake up.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, and everything's a vessel, right? So like people poured into us, and don't just hog it all.
Right. Yes, dude.
Like hey.
There it is.
Another word was like just keep pouring it into the younger generation.
That's even so good.
Even people now, because this is just like, if you take it with an open hand, like this is a blink of moment in time, and like I'm trying to be obedient with what we have, with what God's given us. But ultimately, like, do you see any like 70-year-old people on stage worshiping guitar wise? Like, there comes a point when like, for what we're doing right now, our time is over, and like, what are you gonna do with it?
Pass the torch, bro.
Pass that on to somebody else, and then God will continue to give you dreams as you get older. But like, don't hog it. Like, don't be that guy.
That's
like,
so good.
Find your own tone and pass that wisdom on. And if they take it, they take it. But like,
dude.
Yeah,
that's so good.
That's all I gotta say. And thank you for having me. Seriously.
Yes, dude.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Ohio, Dayton.
Yep, Dayton, Ohio, man.
I'm actually coming to Dayton.
Yeah.
In February.
Dude.
I'll hit you with the date. I'll get you a ticket. We can come. We'll hang out before.
Yes, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, guys. This has been Jordan Raylanders. Thank you, sir, so much. Hopefully, this has blessed you. It's blessed me for sure. Hopefully, this blesses the audience. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And, we'll see you on the next one. So, peace. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. If you made it this far, do me a favor. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down there, right down there. We love getting the opportunity to talk to you down in the comments. Leave us some video ideas. Leave us words of encouragement, whatever you want to do. Jordan, thank you so much for sitting down and having that conversation with me. I appreciate you for taking that time out of your day and just sitting down with me. Guys, go show him some love. He's going to be touring with Corey Kent You can find those on his socials. He's going to be posting about that. And yeah, if you guys have any questions for him, leave them down in the comments. And I think that about does it. I better wrap this one up. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting. And we will catch you on the next one. Peace. Dude.
Nice.
Oh my.
I know it went longer than